You are listening to the B.I.G Show with your hosts, Calvin and Garland. The B.I.G Show is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Here are your hosts, Calvin and Garland.
It is the big show.
What up? What up?
And we were back. We're back. We took a little break. We always take a little mini breaks. I ain't even going out.
Yeah, y'all. Life be life, and I'm sorry, y'all. And we ain't got no sponsors or nothing, so it's just me and Calvin. So
nobody holding us accountable and shit.
We ain't advertising nobody. So when we get to it, we get to it. So thank you for hanging in with us.
We are live on YouTube right now. We are live on Facebook. I think we're still on my page. I tried to throw it to the ATB or the All Things Black page. I'll figure out how to do that. But again, we're live. We're on all the podcast platforms. You'll be able to see us after we download this. And if you have Spotify, you'll be able to get to see us live, our smiling faces. Hey, Garland, what's going on, man? What's going on?
What it do, man? It's it's spring. It's spring again. Everybody knows it's spring again. Thank you, Biz. Spring coming, man. We done leapt forward with the time, and yeah, man. It seemed like yesterday. These seasons used to take longer, but they don't take as long anymore. Maybe it's because we're getting older, and these seasons just lied because you look at it's going to be April in 2 weeks, man. I mean, it just the other day was January and we was freezing, and yeah, it's gonna be April. So things are well, man. Just make it do what it do. It's a hard world out there for people. So people hold on. Be strong. Yeah. Did I sound like Jesse? Keep hope alive. So but yeah, man. No, things are well, man. Just doing the do. What about yourself?
Chilling, man. You know what I mean? Out here working, preparing. We got in 2 weeks. We talking about April. We also got Orioles opening day. Let's go, O's. We be there.
We're gonna be at opening day,
and then we start our old man crew. We got our little season package, a little 13-game package.
Yeah. I'm excited.
We be there hanging out again, talking shit to one another, watching the Orioles and shit. Acting like we know everything going on. We be, no, cause see, he need to be out there cause what the fuck is Brandon Hyde doing anyway?
Yo, why is he running so and so? Your boy Gunner, he cannot field shortstop. Oh my God.
I'm gonna be pulling for the bunt. You got runner on first and second, no outs. We need the bunt. I don't care who it is. Gunner need to learn how to bunt. Adley need to learn how to bunt. Get the runners over.
Right. What's going on with the pitching? So yeah, looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward.
Yeah,
I know
man.
this might. I'm gonna have to say pause, but I am looking forward to the glizzies. And so I'm looking forward to glizzy. I'm cleaning out my clear bag so I can start making my 7-Eleven run before I get to the park to get my customary 2 glizzies and a Coke Zero and a bag of peanuts on my way.
The views expressed in this podcast are not necessarily.
I'm a glizzy eater. I don't care what y'all say about me.
What?
I'm a glizzy
eater. That's wild. That's
whatever. I
crazy.
eat glizzies.
Anyway, what we talking about in the show today? Because we gotta move on.
I eat glizzies. We're gonna talk a little NFL free agency, man. Some people getting some big deals. We don't have a whole bunch of going on. We know basketball's going on, but we're about to get into the tournament, and maybe we might make a prediction. Then we're gonna talk a little about Raising Kanan, man. Raising Kanan is back on for his 4th season. Hopefully it's his final season, because I don't know. So far this season is a little underwhelming. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna save my comments when we get to it, and then we got a little come on, yo. So let's go ahead, man. Talk about free agent frenzy. So our free agency officially started last week, and we saw a lot of movement, a lot of big signings, and so Joey Bosa, he signs with the Bills. The Rams, a very good signing. They pick up wide receiver Devontae Adams. He's coming from the Jets. As we know, he was with the Las Vegas Raiders, and Raiders traded him to the Jets last year to play with his boy Aaron Rodgers, and that didn't work out too well. And so, with the release of Cooper Cup, the Rams have signed Devontae Adams. It's going to be a good matchup with Puka Nakua. So we see how that'll go with Matt Stafford throwing them BBs to them. And as we mentioned a little earlier, Seattle, they traded a lot of moves on Seattle. They traded wide receiver DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers promptly signed him to a long-term deal. They also traded quarterback Geno Smith to the Raiders. And they signed Sam Donald, who played last season for the Minnesota Vikings, to a big 3 year, $100 million or more deal. And they also signed Cooper Cup, wide receiver from the Rams. Cooper Cup was cut by the Rams, and he's going to be in Seattle. And so we see how that goes along. The Jets, they possibly maybe sign that quarterback of the future, or is this just a transition quarterback in Justin Fields? We know Justin Fields last year, he started several games for the Steelers, and then when Russ Wilson was ready to play, Russ came and replaced him, and Justin Fields basically was coming in running a play or two as a gadget guy after that, but he gets a chance to start in New York, which is a tough place to play. The Colts, they signed quarterback Daniel Jones, formerly of the New York Giants and of the Minnesota Vikings. Khalil Mack, he returned to the Chargers, and Chris Godwin as well. He returned to the Bucks as they re-signed with their teams, and so a lot of movement going on. But for the home team, the Ravens were able to re-sign left tackle Ronnie Stanley. That was a big free agency thing going on there. There was concerns that possibly the Commanders or the Patriots could take a run at him, or even the Chiefs, and he basically gave Baltimore the home town discount, and is back with the Ravens. Also, we signed some depth to the offensive line with re-signing Ben Cleveland. We talked about him the last time we recorded. He was out there drinking a lot of brews, but it's okay. He can come back and play for us. Also, they re-signed Pat Ricard to come back and to run a couple more people to the sideline, as well as Tylen Wallace is coming back as well. But probably the biggest player that they added in free agency was wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, who started with the Titans. He played for the Texans. He was with the Chiefs last year in a deadline deal. Made it to the Super Bowl, although they did not win. And so he's going to be in Baltimore, kind of taking the slot of Nelson Aguilar, work in the middle. Pause. And so let's go ahead and talk about some of these signings, man. Let's start with the other teams first, man. We're out of these couple signings that I mentioned, what do you think is probably going to have the most impact?
Oh man. So a lot of these signings look like kind of window dressing. I do so the Pittsburgh Steelers, you pick up a DK Metcalf, you think that's a big deal. It is until you don't have a quarterback. You
Right.
also lose Najee Harris. So they don't even really have a running game right now. They don't have a quarterback. So it's kind of yeah, that's good, but who gonna throw him the ball? And I mean, he's a deep threat. You get Russell Wilson back. Russell Wilson throws a great deep ball. But then you don't have a running game. You know what I mean? They still have what's his face? Jalen
Jalen Warren?
Jalen Warren. They still have Jalen Warren.
Yeah, because
But
Najee Harris, he signed with
Najee's
the
he's with San
Chargers.
Diego. I keep saying San Diego.
It's all
He's
right.
with Los Angeles. So
Mm-hmm.
who else am I looking at? I do like the Cooper Cup pickup in Seattle with Sam Darnold. You go with Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's their future because Tyler Lockett has retired.
Sure.
And of course we just talked about DK moving on. So I do like that move. I do like Devontae Adams taking the place of Cooper Cup, and you got somebody like Matt Stafford throwing him the ball, of course, with Puka Nakua. They do have a running game out there.
Yes.
They are a potential NFC winner, to NFC champion out there. So I do like that move also. Um, you gonna say something about some other
Yeah,
moves?
yeah, yeah. I'll say I do think the Adams pickup for the Rams is huge. I think he's definitely an upgrade over Cooper Cup. I think Cooper Cup, taking a lot of those hits, going across the middle, a lot of wear and tear. There was a couple years where he was really the only receiver there, and that's why he was catching 100 plus passes every year. And I think he's, just a little slow. I'm surprised that Seattle gave him a 3-year deal. I was a little shocked at that. I'm probably thinking that probably cost was a little bit too high for the Ravens because I would have loved to see him on the Ravens work in the slot. But I think Adams is going to have a big impact. Also, I like seeing that the Chargers and the Bucks, they kind of bringing back their foundational players. Chris Godwin, he was having a great year with the Bucks before he hurt himself in the Ravens game. Coming back to play with Baker Mayfield, I think is major. I think keeping Khalil Mack is also good for the Chargers as well. Harbaugh led them to the Jim Harbaugh led them to the playoffs last year. He improves his team every year. We're going to see what they do this year in terms of record. I think I said to you at the end of the season, I thought that the AFC West is really going to be super competitive. I think that might have been, we might have maybe seen the last run of the Chiefs. I know that they got Jordan there. I know they got the greatest coach there, but all of those teams have kind of upgraded, and it's just a little bit more of a competitive conference as in years past. I think Geno Smith to the Raiders as well. That's good. They got to win now. And so maybe they may take one of those quarterbacks if they fall to them in the draft. I think they're drafting in the top 10. But, you got to have a quarterback. Pete Carroll's old. I think Pete Carroll is 70 plus. He's not coming in there to build a program that in 3 or 4 or 5 years, we're going to be competing. No, he's got to come in and win now. And they're the type of team where they are in Vegas, they can do that. They don't have to go to the traditional building like a Steelers or a Ravens or these other teams that are, having success. I mean, Vegas, they just got to get back on the map, and that opens up the possibilities of players wanting to come there. I think Justin Fields, I don't know if he's a starter. And I've never really had confidence. I didn't have a lot of confidence in him in Chicago. I think the offense was horrible. I thought the coach was horrible. If you can't beat out Russ Wilson, who's washed, good luck in New York. If you can't beat up, if you couldn't beat out Russ Wilson last year, good luck in New York. So, and Russ, he's still out visiting. It's obvious that the Steelers may not want him back. I mean, he was in Cleveland. They say he's going to a couple other places as well.
He went to New
And
York.
yeah, he went to New York. So we'll see what happens. Now, let me ask you this. Let's look at our team. What are your thoughts on the Ravens signing D Hop?
Yeah. So, just like last year when they signed, um, God, why do I always forget names when they signed Derrick Henry? I'm
Yes.
excited about D Hop because as a number 3 slot receiver with those kinds of hands and with helping bail Lamar out, bruh, the offense is just. I think the offense is just killer. Like this, we needed that third receiver, especially last year in that playoff game against Buffalo. When you don't have Zay or even the threat of Zay, you just didn't have the firepower. Now, of course, we should have won. Mark Andrews messed us up a little bit, but it shouldn't have come
And
down to that.
Lamar.
And Lamar, he had a bad game
Okay, go
also.
boy. He had a
It
bad
shouldn't have
game.
shouldn't
Right.
have come down to that. But I like D Hop, man. I think it's a great pickup. Along with that, they also added some depth in the special team. They didn't add depth in special teams. They actually picked up the guy from the Rams.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. The
so
linebacker. I don't
yeah,
have his
which
name, but yes.
well, they needed it because they lost Malik Harrison to Pittsburgh.
Right.
So yeah, man, I'm excited about our Ravens moving. That Ronnie Stanley, I heard this on the podcast, and it's so true. Ronnie Stanley is probably one of the only guys that will ever do this, and that says a lot about the organization. It says a lot about Lamar. But Ronnie Stanley really took a pay cut to stay with Baltimore. I'm happy he
He
did it,
did. He did.
but he was being offered. I want to say the Commanders were offering him 25. Someone was offering him 25. He probably could have gotten 30,
Right.
maybe pushing 32 or 33, but he stayed with Baltimore for 20. And thank you, thanks,
Thank you.
Ronnie.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, to me, I think it comes down to, and we're going to talk about, is it about money? Is it about winning in a minute? But I think you get comfortable in a place in, an organization. Sometimes it's more things that factor into it. I mean, these guys, he's probably made more money than he's going to make in a lifetime.
Absolutely.
He's not going to have to work again in life.
This is his
I'm fair.
second. Remember, this is his second big contract.
Yeah,
This is
and so
second.
he's going to be okay. I got a feeling he's going to be okay. I don't know if he's frugal like Jonathan Ogden was. They said Jonathan Ogden was still living off his bonus, his signing bonus, uh, about 10 or 12 years in the league. I don't know if he's frugal like that, but he's going to be okay. And I think sometimes it just comes down to organizational fit. Do I go chase the dollars, or do I stay in a place where I know I'm respected, I'm honored,
It's how you
I
been
trust
treated.
these
Yeah.
guys, how they treat me? Does that mean more than dollars? And so I think that's what we saw in this case. I love the addition of Hopkins. I was kind of on the fence last year about Derrick Henry because I was just like, he just looks washed. And I can't say that I saw every one of his games, but it did kind of look like he was washed. And I
It
actually
wasn't
really,
him.
it
It was
wasn't
the
him,
team. It was the
it was the
team.
team. And I think DeAndre is a great addition because I like Nelly, but Nelly, he dropped a lot of passes. He didn't necessarily he was not a threat. And teams were not game planning. I think you're going to have to really, really game plan on this receiving core, these running backs. Your
Exactly.
offenses are returning pretty intact, although you lost McCurry to Jacksonville. You had a Andrew Voorhees, who you drafted 2 years ago, who's been in your system. He's probably going to start at left guard, and so you have somebody. You can let somebody walk because you got somebody there to kind of take that place. And so I think the Ravens, and every year people are like, they don't go out and sign nobody. They don't go. Well, when you draft well and you take care of your franchise players, you don't need to go out and spend a whole bunch of
Exactly.
money in free agency. That's the key. Draft well, develop those players. Sometimes when those players are ready to move on, unless they are your franchise players, that's when Ravens get those comp picks. That's where they make those good trades. That's how we got Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Lindenbaum. We drafted Hollywood Brown. We developed him, and he was ready to go, and we were able to get good return for him. And so that's how you draft and develop. I think they got the second largest amount of comp picks for this draft coming up next month. And so you're able to use some of those comps to maybe move up in some of the second round or so forth. And so you can get other players. And so I think, the Ravens is always a method to their madness. They're not going to jump out and crack open the checkbook like that. And they always manage to stay relevant, excuse me, by that. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, yeah, and they pick the pieces that fit. They
Yes.
don't always go out to make the splash. They get the pieces that fit. And we can't forget about the Mark Andrews restructuring. That really helps the cap number. That puts them 13 million below
Yeah.
the cap.
And they restructured
Oh,
Marlowe
Marlon,
too.
Marlon, yeah,
Marlon
yeah,
Humphrey.
Marlon. They restructured Marlon. That's what I meant, Marlon. They restructured Marlon. They're keeping Andrews. They actually paid his. He had a roster bonus. They actually got his
Right.
roster bonus. I
four
meant,
million.
Yeah, I meant Marlon. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, the Ravens do what they're supposed to do. And we can't deny it. They're in the playoffs every year. They're always one of the top contending teams. And losing offensive linemen, if you actually notice with Baltimore, it's kind of what they do because they always draft offensive linemen. They always draft and pick up offensive linemen. So they always lose it. The offensive line, with the exception now of Ronnie Stanley and of course Tyler Lindenbaum, the offensive line is always going through changes with Baltimore. They start out struggling some years. Last year, the line started out struggling a little bit, but they seem to always get it together. So, hey,
Yeah,
man,
and I think also we got to watch for the June 1 cuts as well. I think there's still going to be some players out there that they typically pick up a defensive lineman, a rush in You
We
know,
need a
there's
rush
still a
game.
bunch of old dudes out there. Judon's out there. A couple other people
Need a
are
rush.
out there. Zadarius Smith is out there. You know,
Fuck
and
him. Fuck
yeah, I
dude.
know. Go ahead.
Yeah, he played this yo. Fuck him. I think they're gonna pick up Matthew Judon. I
Yeah,
really
and
think they're gonna
so
pick
you
up
know,
Judon.
they're I don't think they're done adding. They usually add somebody by training camp to come in, and that might be the case. And so I don't think their work is done. But you mentioned Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, he got a $4 million bonus for being on the roster last week, and so it's evident that they're not going to move him or cut him as most dumb Raven fans. I'm sorry, I have to say, I know that he dropped the 2 point conversion. I know that he had a fumble in that game. But do you remember that Mark Andrews was our only receiver for about
Only
five,
receiver.
6 years?
Only receiver.
Lamar was just throwing one game against Cleveland. Lamar's got five people on him. And he just throws it up downfield, and Mark Andrews makes that catch. Mark Andrews made so many catches. So you want Miles Borkin? You want Miles Borkin back, or you want to wash Michael Crabtree? How about Sammy Watkins?
We've had all those
Oh,
guys.
oh, 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 yeah. We, and talk about how, because we love old receivers with one foot in the grave. But we had all of these trash. Deshaun Jackson. That's who y'all want. Oh, it's tight ends out there. Last time I checked, Mark Andrews led tight ends last season with 11 red zone touchdowns.
When he started off slow,
When he started off slow, he was in the car
called
accident. We forget he was in the car accident over the summer.
started off, and we all
Started
were
off
like, he
slow.
got lingering effects because he
Yeah,
ain't doing
he
nothing.
ain't
Where's
doing
Mark?
nothing.
Even fantasy experts were like, Mark Andrews is not the Mark Andrews that he
Right.
used to be. Look how he ended the season, man. Ended the regular.
Yeah,
So
he was on a tear, and so there was some word I saw on Twitter. Someone was saying, well, the Ravens were trying to move him,
they were trying
but
to move. Yeah,
no teams. He was like offered like a third day pick, like a fourth or fifth round, sixth. I'm like, what for
nah.
Mark Andrews? If
You
it's to me, if you the Ravens, if you ain't getting at minimum, you should get a day two pick and maybe a player added to that.
you know what I said. Miles Garrett for Mark Andrews.
Oh, you go
Miles
ahead. We're gonna
Garrett.
talk about Miles Garrett in a minute.
Miles Garrett in the second
That
rounder for
ain't never
Mark
that
Andrews.
the Ravens went that never gonna happen because the Ravens ain't gonna give out that type of money. But what are your thoughts about them keeping Mark Andrews at least for the
Yeah.
season? Looks like he's gonna be here for the season.
Hey man, I'm happy about it. I like I said, he cannot end his Ravens career with that Buffalo Bills playoff game being his last game. There is absolutely no way we could let that happen. Mark Andrews is a Baltimore Ravens legend. He
Mhm.
is going to be in the Ring of Honor, and he cannot end his career with the Ravens that way. So
Right.
he needs a chance at redemption, which I think he is going to be a madman this year because
I do
he's
too.
heard it. He heard y'all. He when he's in his USAA commercials now, he hear y'all through the TV talking about catch
USA.
the goddamn ball. You
Right.
fucking around. You need to be out there practicing and shit. You fucking around
Hmm.
getting bank accounts and shit. Get out there
Hmm.
and practice, motherfucker. He heard
Uh-huh.
y'all. He hear all that.
He
He
heard
hear
y'all. He heard y'all. Yeah, man. I think that playoff loss cannot be blamed on Mark Andrews alone. Um, I'm talking about the Buffalo one, and even the year before that with the Chiefs. And you know, I I I think that they just did not capitalize on their strengths last year in that playoff game against Buffalo. I mean, you get down there inside the five and
uh,
you don't run it at
uh,
least four straight times. That to me, that was
that
a major decision. You wound up kicking a field goal when you should have scored.
you
Um,
ran one time.
he ran one time.
One time.
Lamar's fumble led to 7 points. Andrew's fumble only led to three. Yeah, you just
Yeah,
just a lot of things.
Andrew's fumble was in the momentum was
Yeah,
rolling.
the momentum was shifting, and that hurt.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
hurts.
so yeah, these are
I mean,
team losses,
everybody's to
not
blame. Yeah,
yeah, these
everybody's.
are team losses, not individual losses. And so, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with the Steelers or Vikings? Allegedly, these are the two teams who are interested in him. I think he's pretty much said the Steelers, no, I ain't interested in you.
Yeah, so that's what I'm about to say. The last word I heard was if he don't sign with the Vikings, he may be looking at retirement. How,
Wow,
if you if 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 that is true, and you're a Steelers fan, or you're even Russell Wilson, how do you even go back to Pittsburgh and take the you? If you Russell
they better
Wilson, you
pay
got to
up.
go to Cleveland or New York. Well, yeah, I guess if they offering the money,
They
you got
going they got it. They better pay up. And yeah, because I'm just thinking like, yeah, I'm hoping he goes to the Steelers because that's 2 wins for us. It's going to be a conference of washed quarterbacks. I mean, Deshaun is injured in Cleveland. They got, I don't think Gardner Minshew signed there, but uh, one of the Kenny Pickett.
no,
They got Kenny Pickett.
yeah, they got Pickett. Can you imagine
Yeah.
him going to Russell Wilson going to Cleveland and Kenny Pickett got to be his backup after
Wow. That's
he was
crazy.
upset and left Pittsburgh
Right.
because they signed Russell Wilson? Can
Yeah.
you imagine? I know
That'd be
Pickett got to be
crazy.
like, this is some bullshit.
That'll be crazy. So we'll see what happens with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, and Russ is still out there. If Aaron Rodgers does not
Well,
come back, if he does not go to Pittsburgh, do they go ahead and bring Russ back?
does Russ go back? I know that they're going to want Russ back, but if I'm
Yeah.
Russ, I'm not. I'm going to New York. I'm not going.
All right, depending on how what the money look like. To me, I mean,
The
you were in the
opportunity,
playoffs last year, and
yeah.
it's Mike Tomlin. The opportunity now. You talking about going to the Giants, or you talking about going to the Jets?
The Giants.
Okay. Oh no, they ain't going in the playoffs no time soon. And so,
But you got Malik Neighbors you can throw to. But I guess the
true.
opportunity to throw to Pickens again and DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
You
You played
familiar
with
with the
DK.
system?
You're familiar.
Yeah,
You're
you
familiar with
familiar
the
with the
system.
system. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Well, talking about playing for money, Miles Garrett and the Browns agreed on a record contract extension that averages $40 million per year and includes a $123.5 million in guaranteed money, making the star defensive end the highest paid. Well, actually, he's not anymore because someone's about to eclipse that. It made
someone's
him the second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Now, Calvin, this brings up a thing, and is money more important than winning? Now, we talked about Ronnie Stanley. Ronnie Stanley took a below market deal as a free agent to come back to Baltimore because it appears, not only that he loves the organization, but you're playing with the greatest quarterback ever. You're a competing team. You kind of underperformed last year, but your odds on to get back there
Mhm.
to at least the AFC Championship or possibly Super Bowl. Here you gotta have a guy, Miles Garrett. That team's not going to sniff the playoffs this year. They're still rebuilding. I think in his several years there, they've maybe only been to the playoffs twice and they've lost. Um, and he wanted to get out. He asked for a trade and they just ignored him. The owner wouldn't meet with him, but then they came up and gave that man $40 million per year, and he's back. Is money more important than winning?
I mean, it is to Miles Garrett. I mean, clearly he had a price. Now, and you can't knock him for it. My thing is always stop running your mouth. You know what I mean? He was
Sure,
adamant he didn't
sure.
want to play for them anymore, and he didn't want to negotiate a contract and this and that. They threw him that money to make him, which is at the time the highest paid player in the game. But then he folded, man. He folded. Just and listen, nobody is disparaging you for taking the money, but it's one of them things where if you'd have just kept quiet, we'd have been like, okay, we get it.
Right.
Now everybody looking at you like, come on now. So now when you say next year, I'm tired of losing, people gonna be like, are you? Are you tired of losing? Because
Right.
now you can't say nothing. You can't say a damn
Right.
thing now because you stayed. You took the money. You would have just had to play one more year with them. You probably would have sat out or something. Something had to give. Now we know we saw even with Lamar, something had to give, and it's usually the player that's going to cave in. With Lamar, the team caved in, kind of met him halfway at his demands, but you know what I mean. Eventually, it's going to
Mhm.
happen. But one more season, you're still young. You know what I mean? He could have sat out the
Right.
season or did whatever he wanted to do, bit the bullet this season, and then have the opportunity to play next year. Bro, you married to them because ain't nobody else gonna give you that money. Nobody's picking that contract
Right.
up.
And
So
Cleveland again spending money when they don't have to, but that's the Cleveland way. But I will say this: the Bible says that wine is for a good time. No, wine is for merriment, and partying is for a good time. But money solves all things. And it's obvious that money solved his issue. He wanted to get off a team that was not winning, a team that's not going anywhere. And to take care of him, to solve that problem, they gave him more money, and now he's happy. Yeah, they gave him more money, and now he's happy. I mean, I don't. I agree with you. I mean, you're a young player. Maybe you play out the script and you go somewhere else, but you're basically going to be tied to a team that has not come close to winning, does not look like they're going to come. They're married to this Deshaun Watson contract. The implications on that is going to be mega. Um,
Nick
you haven't
Chubb is
really
about
draft. Yeah, go
Nick
ahead.
Chubb is leaving.
Nick
Nick Chubb
Chubb
is
is leaving.
gone.
Yeah,
They don't have Amari Cooper any longer. He's not under contract.
right.
It's just
Yeah,
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 you're
yeah,
not.
yeah. It's a team in transition, and
They
so
got David and Joku still, but they don't even have a backup tight end, but they got David and Joku.
no, you're not pulling out so daggone David.
And Joku ain't bad. And Joku's a top. And Joku's a top tight end in the league. Don't do that.
My
And
man Calvin
Joku's top
talking
10.
from fantasy. You can tell who's the fantasy
Nah,
head on
and
this.
Joku is a top 10 tight end in the league. He's really the only thing they have right now. He actually
That brother
last year
almost
he
burnt
was
off.
really the only thing
He almost burnt his whole body. He's like Richard
But
Pryor.
when he came back, when he came back, he was a killer, man. Check the stats. I'm trying to tell
All
you.
right.
I'm
Anyway,
trying to tell you. Joker's a top tight end in the
all right.
league.
Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have agreed to contract extensions. Chase agreed to a 4-year, $161 million deal that includes $112 million guaranteed, while Higgins agreed to a 4-year, $115 million deal that is guaranteed for the first 2 years. Now, Chase's deal has an annual average salary of $40.25 million, setting an NFL record. Now, he's the highest average annual salary player for a non-quarterback. My question is, who's playing the defense? Who's playing on defense for the Bengals?
Hey, man.
I think I saw some 60% of their payroll is on 3 players.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hello.
These people always
Who's
just have this.
who's who's calling? Oh, Paul. What's your name? Oh, okay, Cincinnati. All right. Well, we'll see. Talk to my agent. We'll see. I might be available. All right. Anyway,
Well, hold on. Hello? Yes, this is Garland Thomas. All right, Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, yes, of course. I know who you are. Yeah. You're looking for people to come play on your defense? All right. Well, how about this? I'll call you back and I'll let you know. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So long.
yeah, man, that's who gonna play for Cincinnati. Whoever answered the phone. They still have Trey Hendrickson. They haven't, and the thing is, they still have Trey
Right.
Hendrickson because their asking price was so high. Teams were like, "Nah, we not giving you all
Yeah.
that for him."
Yeah. I mean,
But
but is he going to play or is he going to sit out?
he don't want to be there. Like yeah, man. Now we have seen, and especially against the Ravens, they can
Mhm.
put up 40 plus
Oh,
easy.
they're gonna score. They'll score
Easy.
100 points, but they're gonna give up 105.
They're going to give up more than they put up. And if you're a team like the Baltimore Ravens with a great run game, uh, it's going to be them
Yeah.
shootouts at the end of the game like it's always been. But yeah, man, shout out to Cincinnati, because the one thing they have not done, other than unless you're Marvin Lewis, who stayed there way too long, they believed in him. But the one
Hmm.
thing they did not do was retain their players. They were a cheap organization that didn't retain the players, that didn't pay them. They see what they have in Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and it may be one of them things. They may be one of them teams that's more interested in keeping the fans in the stands rather than winning an actual ring. They can say they want to win a ring, but if you're not balancing your team out, it's going to be impossible to win a ring. But they're fan favorites. It's an exciting brand of offensive football. So they'll always have exciting games and be in the game. So shout out to them for that. But yeah, we'll see how this experiment works out.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Yes, they're gonna. I mean, this is basically they're the same team that missed the playoffs last year.
They are the same.
They're the same team that missed the playoffs last year. They-
They're lesser of a team. They're actually lesser of a team because of the players that they're going to lose. On they
right.
have some players.
Yeah,
I don't
they've
think they
lost some players.
picked up anyone. I don't
They've
think.
signed they've signed a couple players in
Okay.
free agency. I mean, not big impact. I mean, I think they're bringing back Justice Hill's brother. He signed there. You know, he was already on the
Okay.
roster. They
Okay.
brought in a defensive tackle, and they might have. Oh, they re-signed the tight end Mike Gesicki. We talk about good tight ends. They
Okay.
re-signed Gesicki to a 3-year deal, and so they
And they
did
still
sign
had
some
Geno
things.
Stone. Remember, he was the big pickup last year. They still
I
got
think they
Geno.
let him go. I think they let him walk in free agency.
They did not let Geno
Yes, they did because I think that was only a 1-year deal. So I think they let Gino walk in free agency. Yeah, and so
I'm
anyway, and
laughing at
so yeah,
Geno.
yeah. Nonetheless, I think that they got some things to figure out. They got some. I don't care because as long as Lamar is playing, Lamar I think is like 8-1 lifetime as a starter against the Bengals, and so they can bring back Jerry Rice. They can bring back Randy
They can
Moss.
bring back Chad
They can
Ochocinco,
bring back Chad. They can bring back Who's Your Mama.
TJ
Yeah,
Hushamazada.
TJ, Who's Your Mama? They can bring them back all. Bring back Bob Trumpy. They could bring back all the old players, Isaac Curtis, all of the old receivers, Ken Anderson, the old quarterback. It doesn't make a difference.
Icky.
Oh my
They
god.
can bring back Icky.
They could bring back the guy who was snorting coke the night before the Super Bowl. Stanley Wilson. They could bring back Stanley Wilson too. It's not going to make a difference. And so, yeah, yeah. But so we'll see what happens with them. Josh Allen, he made history with his recent 6-year, $350 million extension by receiving more guaranteed money, $250 million than any other player. The deal uh, average annual value of $55 million, however, is tied for second highest in the NFL, and it pays Allen $5 million less annually than Dak Prescott's contract with the Cowboys. Should the Ravens extend Lamar this season as well?
They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to because I think the cap hit next year is 78 million. I think he 78 million on the cap hit next year. So they have to extend him. Like it's not a should or not. They have to. Like they don't have a choice. They're gonna have to extend him. So
Mhm.
and shout out to Josh Allen. He came out and said,
Amen.
I don't need the extra 5 million because I'm already set. I just want the team to be better. And they went and got one of his MAGA brothers, because I know you
Yeah.
fully believe that Josh Allen is MAGA, and they definitely got a MAGA boy, MAGA Bosa out there.
Yes. Oh,
So
MAGA.
he,
Him and his brother waving the flags for Trump.
he went
They're
to
gonna
the
put them
he
Trumps
went to the
down.
right place.
Let me ask you this, man. What you think about people when you see a Tesla, people driving a Tesla? Do you want to run them off the road? Like I feel when I see someone driving a Tesla, I kind of want to swerve into them.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, because
So
to me it's a sign of Elon Musk.
yeah, so so initially, I'll just say, prior to this election and him owning Twitter, Elon Musk has always been a piece of shit, but we didn't
Sure.
feel the way we felt about him then. And Tesla was an innovative car, something we had
I
never
wanted
seen
one.
before.
Hmm.
So you can't fault people. Plus, what I will say is, and you've bought cars before, it takes a lot to get a car on the road. A lot. I'm sure people were really proud of their purchase of Tesla.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It took a lot to get on there. So I don't disparage people that drive Teslas. Now, if you're a new Tesla owner, I might side eye you a little bit.
Right. If you up in the dealership right now talking about, yo,
You
I want to get this
I
Tesla.
might, yeah, I might side eye you a little bit
Yeah.
there, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not one of them people that I'm not going to shame you for past decisions. When you
Hmm.
know better, you do better. But even then, like people get what they can either afford or get what they want, and it was a status thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, shit, electric car, everybody wanted one. When I would
True.
get an Uber and they would bring a Tesla, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm
Right.
styling up
Styling
here.
up in
So
that mug. Yeah,
yeah, I'm
trust
not.
me, I did. I looked at it. I looked at a Tesla a couple years ago. Like, yeah, everybody's making the transition. You start to seeing them more on the road, and then you start to learn more about Elon Musk, and then the whole thing with Twitter, and then this Doge stuff. I would walk barefoot through a street filled with broken Boone's Farm strawberry bottles before I drove a Tesla now. So
Well,
yeah,
be careful what you say, because if things keep going the way they are going, you might find Teslas less than Hondas out here, and the opportunity to own a car of
bro,
that quality at a low price
yo,
may make some
I'm going
people.
to say it now. I'll ride a bike. I'll go back when I was in college. I used to steal bikes. I used to steal people's bikes, Calvin. Like if you left your bike somewhere and it was not chained up, your boy, I lived off campus all 4 years when I was at Hampton, and so I was left to either riding with a roommate or catching the bus to campus or walking to school. And so one day on my walk to school, I noticed that near this apartment building there was this bike parked there, and the bike was not chained up. And I walked by it a couple of days, so I was like, that bike now. If I come by here one more day and that bike ain't chained up, I'm gonna take that bike. So I walked into school one day. The bike wasn't chained up, Calvin. I crossed the street. I got on that bike. I looked both ways and I took off. And I kept that bike for the whole school year.
Look,
And the crazy part about it, Calvin, I never brought a chain for it. I was to find somewhere on campus and I would park it there, kind of hide it, and nobody would ever take the bike. Well, the place that I took the bike from, I had some friends that lived in the building and they saw me on the bike one day. They was like, yo, you took the guy bike that lived in my building. He was so mad when he came out to go to work one day and his bike was gone. And Calvin, I kept that bike for the whole year, whole school year.
did you leave it? Did you leave it after the school year was over?
I didn't take it back and leave it. I gave it to somebody or something. I forget what I did with it, but
I
I think I
just
gave it to somebody.
I just want y'all to know Garland lives up to the name Hampton Pirate.
Right.
Pirate.
I was like, all right, you matey.
Shiver, shiver me bike chains.
So, bro, I'll steal somebody's bike before I drive a Tesla. That's I said all this. I said all that to say I'll steal somebody's bike before I drive a Tesla.
Harford County, Harford County.
Beware.
If you see those scooters out there just laying around the street, Garland, Garland took them without paying. Hide your bike,
Hide your bike.
hide your bikes, Elk Ridge, Aberdeen, Elkton.
Oh, Edgewood.
Edgewood, hide your bikes.
Yeah, man, I'll take your bike. I mean, people ride them on the mark and everything. Like, a couple times I caught the mark. Guy had a collapsible bike. Don't leave your good collapsible bike out there.
Colin, Colin rolled up to the bike, and the bike was like, "I got him, man. What your man got to do with me?"
I looked at that bike, said, You're mine now."
I am the captain now.
I, bro.
I am
Anyway.
the rider now. Leave them people bikes alone, man.
Let's transition from sports, man. We'll talk raising Kanan, man. Everybody, I claim to fame is reviewing TV shows. And so we're
It
back
is.
in the fourth season of Raising Kanan. And so this season it started off kind of, and it was a little weak opening episode. But this past Friday's episode picked up a little bit. We saw that um, Kanan is going through with his distributors, Pop, and what's that? Oh my God, I forget his wife's name. But
Pop and snaps, wasn't it?
yeah,
Ain't it?
yeah, Pop and Snaps. Yeah. And so Pop and Snaps is like, whatever, nigga, we own you. And, Rock, she doing rock stuff. And we see that Uncle Lou, he's come back. Uncle Lou was on the bottle. He was out here drinking all up and all this stuff. And they went ahead and put Lou in rehab. And Uncle Lou, now he's going to become, well, he's not going to become Diddy, but he's going to be Diddy like. And he's running a label for somebody, and he went to jail and got some guy out of jail, and he's rapping the night. Juke joined the military and was doing well, but Juke is a lesbian, and so Juke, she feels that she's not going to be able to live that lifestyle in the military, which somebody told her don't join the military because your lifestyle, but Juke went and did it anyway, and now she's AWOL and back at home, and so Calvin, make it make sense. And now it seems like Marvin is a hitman for the mob, and so
Muscle.
yeah,
I
he's
wouldn't say
muscle
it. He's
for the
muscle.
mob. And we still got Unique out here. Unique walking around looking like the Phantom of the Opera, got all these stitches up in his head, banging his head and all this other stuff. So, what did you make of the second episode?
So I actually like the second episode because, as we talked about with the first episode, they kind of moved backwards and went over and did some what I thought was unnecessary stuff. But I like this episode because it started moving forward. Now, when we talk about Juke, the character is so confusing because we know eventually she ends up as a DC cop. But
Right.
everything that happens in this show, we're always like, "Oh, this must be her route." Like when the one officer, I think it was Officer Howard at the beginning, was talking to, we was like, "Oh, maybe that's going to be her bridge into police, being in the police academy." But that stopped.
Right.
But then the white girl started using her as trying to use it as an informant and liking it. We was like, "Oh, that's going to be her bridge. That's going to be the reason." Then she got killed, so that wasn't it. So then she go to the army. We like, "Oh, that's going to be her bridge into being a police officer down in DC." Well, then she go AWOL. You can't be a police officer if you have a criminal charge from the army on you. So it's so her character is so confusing what's going to happen. I just stopped trying to assume what's going to happen moving on to the next one. So
Yeah, it's crazy because she goes down to Atlanta to see her boo that was in the group with her butter. The girls at school at Spelman. First of all, I wonder how they in the room at Spelman. Where the roommate at? They up in here.
that's what I said.
Where the roommate? She up in here just a snacking on old girl up in the room, and
but but how did you think she was just going to be there? Yeah, I could just stay here.
yeah,
Like, wait, what?
I figure I would stay with you. Well, hold on, yo, you come to stay in my dorm room?
He's like, hold up,
and,
bitch. Let me
and this the
bounce
90s,
around
so
this
I
motherfucker.
mean this ain't all like this ain't today where it's more uh open to the norm of society. I mean, we're talking about the 90s, and so Juke just show up and she all like, yeah, no roommate in the room, you under the covers and whatnot, think I stay with you. Now how'd you get from Atlanta to DC to be a cut. That's what I'm trying to figure out where they going with
Exactly.
this.
Exactly. Where is you characters going? Like, I don't get it. But no, remember, Juke didn't go. Juke went from Atlanta back to New York. She back home now.
Yeah,
You know,
that's right. Yeah, that she was back
she back
home. Yeah,
home. So
yeah, because Ogo told her like, yeah, look, I am in college. I let you eat my cat, but I act like I like guys.
just say, I
That's what made it. Like, look, I'm in the closet gay. I'm not outside gay yet.
yeah, I
So
gotta see who else around this motherfucker.
right. I
You
got my roommate to stay out one night, but
know,
this ain't gonna be happening every night.
I got. I mean, I'm at Spelman, but Morehouse is right over there.
Right. What
I
else
got
is
to
right over here?
see what's up with the niggas and shit too. So I don't
My
know, Chief.
parents they gonna
I'm
cut off this
always love
tuition.
you.
Right. I love you. You can come around a little bit, whatnot, but don't get used to this.
Yeah, man. So Marvin is the muscle, but did you notice that Rock didn't even know when Rock found out? She was
Right.
like,
She all
he
like
did what? Oh,
he did what?
okay,
Oh,
okay.
oh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I knew that. I knew that. I knew that. So,
So
your
Rock going from making all these power moves to this season, she not really, although she is Kanan's supplier and stuff, and she has some issues with the plug. She really, we're not getting a whole bunch of Rock so far.
Well, remember she said she asked what's his name? Tony Danza's character. She asked
Yeah,
him, how about you make me the plug, make me the supplier? And
right.
he was like, you find you some poppy fields or some shit, we can talk. So maybe she's making her ascension up into more than a kingpin, just one of the drug lords. Maybe she's making her ascension there.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I want Fame is about to be a snitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they can't
Well,
fire Fame, but
Fame is not about to be a snitch. Fame say he ain't do it. He ain't kill him.
right.
They gave him the out, and Fame was like, I ain't doing. I ain't shoot. I
Yeah,
want my lawyer.
I didn't
I ain't
give the streets a
nobody.
body. At least not that body. I didn't give the
Even though
streets a body.
the streets need a body, but I ain't give him one.
Right.
You got your boy Lou. Lou out here. Why does Lou talk like that? Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I mean, I ain't seen it. I'm
yeah,
glad. I don't even.
I'm trying to make sure this decision I make is the right decision. You know, I gotta.
Hey,
Dude,
you
what
gotta
you gonna
let you.
go back to moving packages? You shot somebody, you was killing people. That's why you was out here drinking, and then Rock had to grab you by your face and tell you, "I own you, nigga." And and it broke poor Lou. Lou, just don't go back to the drug business, but Lou, go ahead transition to the other drug business, the music business.
Yeah, Lou. About to say getting into a worse business. The white boy was like, how many times I've been to rehab? What the fuck?
Right. I done been to rehab. Too much pussy. I done did too much coke. I was drinking too much liquor. Now I own a record label.
What about your boy, the actual star of the show? What the
Who?
fuck is you talking about?
Right. That's
You
all.
said if I pay his
Right.
debt, it would be over. Yeah, we said that you paid what we gave him, but we ain't talk about the
Right.
profit yet.
Ronnie.
So we still need to get our profit. That's not what you said. And then he looked over at Rock. Rock
Right.
was like, that's you, Kanan.
I ain't know nothing about this, Kanan.
I don't
I
know.
mean, that's your
Like,
deal,
like
Kanan.
they said, I wasn't involved in that. That's you, Kanan. And then she had to save his life. Let's go, Kanan.
Right.
But mom, they said, let's go, Kanan.
I hate rock. I can't stand my mother.
I think I think you better listen to your mother, son. Listen to your mother, son.
Yes. And then, okay, so they think the federal task force thing is over. After Marvin and her killed Howard, and they wind up killing Ronnie as well. But of course, NYPD is still looking for the killers and all. And so Unique goes and kills Rock's lawyer, And to me, I felt this episode was uneven in the sense that I think Calvin, after 4 years, you run out of ideas sometimes. I do. I just think you run out of ideas. This guy, all right, he had all this memory loss, but he knows how to find rock. Uh, you know, so how did he get to the lawyer's apartment before he did? Did he know where the lawyer lived? Because
He
he, him and Rock, the lawyer and Rock hugged. He was sitting in the car on the curb. So how did he get in the house before the attorney?
well, the attorney had a bag. Maybe he stopped at the store or something. All I know is
How he get there in the
Unique,
hallway, Calvin?
Unique rolled up and was like, "So you fucking her?" He ain't even
Right.
give him a chance to
Right.
answer.
They would answer like, yo,
Like,
who?
fucking
Who?
who?
Right.
Who
Who you
we
talking?
talking about?
I'm
Like,
using a
fuck,
lot of people. Who?
I'm getting shot over some pussy. I don't even know the pussy. What the
Right. How you gonna clip the dude that looked like the lawyer from Ghost? They must have a penchant for bald head lawyers because they had a bald head lawyer. What was the guy that was messing with?
uh
Tasha?
yeah, messing with Ghost wife. That
Yeah,
Ghost had to kill him.
they had to
Terry,
kill him. Put him in the joint. Yeah,
Terry
Terry.
Silver,
Yeah,
something like that.
Terry Silver.
Terry Silver.
How they gonna kill Silver Daddy? That's Terry Silver Daddy they killed.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still like the episode. I thought the
Okay.
episode moved forward instead of
Okay.
moving backwards. So
I thought it just stayed in the same place. So hopefully they're building up to something that's explosive in episode 3 because we still waiting to see when Ghost and Tommy are going to be put into this, and what's the whole. Then there's some midget guy showed up that's dealing drugs with Kanan. Where the midget guy come from, Calvin? The little midget guy. I'm sorry. I'm
and
sorry.
that's another thing.
Let me be
Kanan got the
appropriate.
girl pregnant, so I thought that was going to be his son that he killed in Power, but it wasn't because she had an
Right.
abortion.
Right.
So
So
yeah,
you had the small guy. Where the small guy come from? That's up. They got it plotted all. He got all this evidence up in the apartment, just sitting there, like, yeah, supply got a map, got he keeping books. Okay, what? Now you driving a Benz? What? Ah, yeah, the little guy just came out of nowhere. I didn't know where the little. Oh yeah, that's my man's. What? He ain't never been in the show before. Where he come from?
he cool. I mean, girl, don't worry about that.
I'll pull out this time. Like, oh, Negroes, the pull out game don't work.
She was like, "How you feeling?" She was like, "It's been right. Yeah, I paid for it." He's like,
Right.
"Nigga, that's the least you could
That's at
do."
least. I mean, I did pay for it. I feel it too. I mean, it hurt my pockets. Yo, all right, man. Raising Canaan. We're gonna see what happens on the third
We'll
show,
see
but
what happens. Yeah.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, man. We at a point that everybody loves in the show. Come on, yo. So, Cal, you go ahead first. I went first last week.
Yeah, man. So, and within all of this political turmoil, we got your boy DT changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
That motherfucker.
He wants to change. I don't know how true this is because I heard it, but it could be AI. But I wouldn't put it past him. He wants to change the District of Columbia to the District of America. With all the other shit that's going on,
All them black people gonna go crazy down there. Don't do that to them. To them.
with all the other shit that's going on, the one that had to make, I couldn't do nothing but laugh and shake my head this morning when I read that a lawmaker from France is saying that the America needs to give back the Statue of Liberty because we do not meet
Wow.
those values any longer.
Right.
I was like, are you fucking I couldn't do nothing but giggle because it's true. It's true.
Unscrew it and give it back.
Come on, America. Come on, yo. What are y'all doing, yo? Look at where we are as a country right now. When you have another country that gave you the Statue of Liberty a couple hundred years ago saying, nah, we're gonna need that back home. Yeah, run that thing back over here.
Right.
What?
Yo,
It is so we are the laughing stock of the world. I am almost, and I'm only going to say almost because I know it's just political leadership, but I am almost embarrassed to be an American right now. Because we still have good people in America, I'm not fully embarrassed, but it's getting to that point now where when people, you know how you used to go places and people be like, "Where you from?" You go out of the country, "Where you from?" "Oh yeah, I'm from America." "Where you from?" "I'm from the United States." "From the United States." No, no, I ain't vote for him. I ain't vote for him. But
right.
it shouldn't even be to that point. Even in the days of the Bushes, Vice President Dan Quayle, people that we all looked at like, what are y'all talking about? I was never, ever even close to being embarrassed to be an American. Now we got this guy, and we have other countries joking us and clowning us and making political statements, laughing at us. And now the country that gave us the Statue of Liberty as a token of friendship, a beacon of light, something that our country was supposed to present to the world to say everybody can come. It literally says on there, bring everyone. Bring me your weak, bring me your poor, bring everyone. Now they saying, I'm gonna need that back home. They are calling us saying, oh, remember that statue I let y'all hold? Yeah, I'm gonna need that back. I'm gonna need that back. Come on, America. Get it together. Come on, America. Get
Hey,
that together.
they want French fries back too. They gave us French fries, French onion soup,
French Montana.
French
I don't know if they,
Montana.
I don't know
Yep.
if they
You don't know if
gave
they
us
gave us
French
French Montana.
Montana.
They were Victor Wembanyama. They like, look, stop
Ah,
playing in the
Big
league.
Vic, Big Vic, so disgusted he hurt for the year. Big
Right.
Vic said, "I ain't playing with you. I'm not
They
playing with you, motherfuckers, no more."
they said
That was
Big
African
Vic.
born friends. That
They
was.
want them all back.
They can have Lance Armstrong. They gave us Lance Armstrong back. They said, "Nah,
Right.
y'all keep
Right.
Lance.
Yeah,
We
I
don't need
feel
no
you, man.
tour.
Every day is something new
Something new, man.
with Trump.
Something."
Anytime you can make George W. Bush look presidential, like he was the last great Republican president,
So
you've done a lot.
so
Yeah, you've done a
ridiculous.
lot. All right, man. Come on, yo. Come on, cyber bullies. Now, if you follow me on Facebook, I just posted something the other day about cyber bullies, and it's kind of like a little long backstory, but the short version of it is a couple days prior to that, I had just made a declaration of faith. I want people to be encouraged because people are going through some tough times. I'm going through some tough times, and I basically posted, I still believe God. I believe God is sovereign. I believe God is still in control and watching out for us and caring for us, although it doesn't look like it sometimes. People losing family members, their jobs, their livelihoods, their health is failing. You know, I'm trying to encourage not only myself but others. Keep your faith. Keep your faith. Don't let your faith go. Well, excuse me. I have a friend. He's agnostic. I would say he's agnostic. Agnostic is someone who does not believe in the existence of God. He doesn't believe in God at all. I think that's what he does. He doesn't believe in God at all. But despite him not believing in God and me believing in God, I'm tolerant. Hey, I respect what he believes, and we were cool. We became friends. And despite our differences in thought and belief. And so when I made that post, I got up the next morning and I saw him in my timeline on the post say, "Well, what do you believe?" I said, "Well, I believe God's in control. And it's not debatable." "Well, it is debatable." He's a cyber bully. He's a guy that likes to lurk on people's pages, and if they post something about religion, of God, or Jesus, he likes to get into debates with people to prove that God doesn't exist. Well, no, not for me, because my faith is not. We're not having debates over what I believe. I don't debate you on what you believe. You that's your choice, and um, it's my choice. And I'm trying to not only I'm encouraging people as well. And so this is I don't want people to get mad and start arguing with you on my timeline about what we believe. And it's not the place. And you don't have any grace. And so I think a lot of times, man, we have to sometimes move people out of our space that are not positive, not are not bringing good energy. And I think I can count on one hand the amount of people that I've unfollowed and blocked on social media. And he's one of those fingers now. And it's so funny. He called a mutual friend of ours and he told the mutual friend that I blocked him and I unfriended him. And the mutual friend was like, "Did you ever think to just check in with Garland to see what was going on with him before you jumped on his timeline with your post? You know Garland's a spiritual person. Why would you even think to do that on his page? Did you ever think about that?" Well, there was yeah, but you're wrong. And when people don't even think that they're wrong, yeah, that's a problem. And so, come on, yo, we got to put these negative energy people out of our space. If you can't respect what I believe, like I can respect what you believe, then we probably shouldn't be in the same space. I probably should not be taking in your negative energy into my positive energy because you have to try to prove a point, and you know my faith in my life is not a point for you to prove or to get likes on. So come on, yo, no more cyber bullies. Let's stop this mess.
Yeah, man, you can't. So especially in the political climate that we got ourselves into back in 2017. Actually, I'll even go far back as saying 2008 when Barack Obama got elected.
Mm-hmm.
When people started showing you who they were, one of the excuses were, well, just because I have a different opinion doesn't mean that we have to not be friends. We can still agree to disagree amicably. We can, because a lot of people take it to the extreme. It's one thing to have a difference of opinion, it's another thing to attack my opinion,
Right.
and to in turn attack me. And people don't have to put up with that, especially grown adults. And then, like you said, Colin, people are going through a lot right now, even more than ever. So we don't need that type of negative energy. I fully support, and you know how they say, let's
Mm-hmm.
normalize getting these people out of your lives, out of your social media timelines. Social media should be something for entertainment.
Right.
Everyone uses it for different things. Some people use it for business. Some people use it to talk politics, whatever you use it for. But it should be your vessel, your avenue to do whatever you want. And you
Right.
should not have to worry about being attacked. If you don't want to debate, you shouldn't have to debate. People are always going to have a difference of opinion. You're
Right.
never going to be able to stop that.
Right.
But you don't need to attack my opinion just because you don't believe what I believe.
Exactly. To me, if you want to debate, let's debate who had the best rap album in 1990.
There you
That's
go.
a debate. But if we're talking about faiths, you don't believe anything. I believe in something. There's no debate there. And so,
It's really not.
yeah,
I mean, yeah,
there's
it's
no
really not.
debate. There's
If
really not
if
any
if
debate.
he had something else that he believed in, then I can
But
see
yeah,
that's an even debate.
right,
But if you don't believe in anything, why would it bother you that someone else believes in
right.
something?
And it's
Like
so
I don't.
crazy because I saw he had a post a couple days prior to that that said, "Oh, where are all the God posts?" And so I
Yeah,
found that
that's just
so
trolling. Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
found it
trolling.
trolling. I found it offensive, but I didn't respond because again, I'm tolerant of you, but you're not tolerant of me. And
Exactly.
so,
Exactly.
hey, go ahead, you crazy. I scrolled up and kept on going. But yeah, I kind of said in my back of my mind when I made the post, I was like, he's probably going to get on my timeline and respond to this. And so we'll see. And I felt like Bomani. He got blocked today. I had time today. I had time that day.
Unblock me, Bo.
So yeah, man. Everybody, thank you for joining in to some great talk. We had a small list of stuff to talk about, we still went an hour though, so that's good.
Yeah, man. Because we don't know how to shut the fuck up. That's
No,
the
we don't.
problem.
We don't.
That's the big problem. Hey man, another good show. We
Yes.
are live on Facebook right now and live on YouTube. You can catch us on all the podcast platforms. I will be downloading this tomorrow, which is March the 18th. So you'll get to see it on all the podcast platforms, and you'll get to see our smiling faces on Spotify if you use that for your podcast. Other than that, hey man, we got to get together again next week and talk about
Yes.
this. Raising Kanan comes on Friday. If we want to drop a nugget or two about that, we may do it Saturday, Sunday. I can't do it Sunday. My middle baby's birthday should be 29. Happy birthday,
wow,
Autumn.
29. Happy birthday,
29
Autumn.
years old.
Definitely. So yeah, my niece. Happy birthday, baby.
Yeah, so Sunday we won't be able to do it,
That's
but
right,
any
man.
other day.
Get some brunch. That's right. Treat that girl to a good brunch.
Yeah, man. She she'll get out there and eat it too. She'll take my money easily. If I say mimosa, she'll be like, I'm there.
Right.
I'm there. So hey man, let me play this outro music and we can get out of here. I can go get me something to eat with the wife. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I think she needs some chicken.
She got them wings waiting for you. You have been listening to the B.I.G. Show. This show was produced and written by Calvin Coates and Garland Thomas for All Things Black Productions.
Yes, sir.
Follow us on all of your podcast media platforms.
All right, man. Later,
All right, bro. Peace.